For the University of Texas Marine Science Institute at Port Aransas, I'm Holly Brawley.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives.
Here's a look at the community calendar. I'm Carlos Gonzalez. The City of San Bernardino invites you to take advantage of Free Dump Day. If you haven't wanted mattresses, appliances, tires, electronics, or shrubs to get rid of, mark the last Saturday of each month on your calendar. You must provide proof of residency with your driver's license or utility bill. No hazardous or construction materials will be accepted. To find out the times and places for Free Dump Day, Google City of San Bernardino calendar. If you're looking for something fun, interesting, and free to do, the City of San Bernardino History and Railroad Museum is open every Saturday from 10 till 3. Schedule a group tour by calling 909-888-3634 and learn some fascinating firsts about San Bernardino. That number again, 909-888-3634. And that's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Carlos Gonzalez.
The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org.
We are farmers. We are all-day long doers. Agriculture isn't just our industry, it's our way of life. We invest in equipment that's long-lasting, economical, and environmentally conscious because that's what it takes to do the job right. We're all about greater horsepower and cleaner emissions, new implements, more attachments, better technology and dependable engineering. For all your ag equipment needs, we are Kccaa.
This is KCAA.
For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember, TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Pause Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, make sure to stop and pause a while. Then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
It gets real, it's live, it's really live, local, and in motion. Every day on KCAA, the Inland Empire's only live local motion talk. KCAA 1050 AM and KCAAradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478, or visit them on New York Street in Redlands off the I-10 and the Crosstown Freeway. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt completely forgiven, both the principal and interest? National Credit Card Relief wants to give you free information that shows you how. Thousands of people have used this program to have their credit card debt forgiven. So call now for free information and consultation. We'll give you the secret to this money-saving program absolutely free. Get eye-opening information that could save you thousands of dollars a year or a month, depending on how much you owe. In fact, the more you owe, the more you can save. All you need is $10,000 or more in credit debt, medical bills, or department store debt to qualify. Call for free debt forgiveness information now at 800-546-2909. That's 800-546-2909. To discover the secret to having your credit card debt forgiven, call 800-546-2909. 800-546-2909. Don't wait, call now. 800-546-2909.
We found the problem with your car.
And
Turns out the carburetor differential modulator is out.
what?
And while we were digging around in there, this thing fell off.
Stop. There's no automotive repair nightmares at Diego Martinez's 5-Star Automotive in San Bernardino. 5-Star Automotive, where you'll get a great experience, and home of the $15.99 oil change. That's right, just $15.99. They specialize in transmissions, brake repair, AC, and many other repairs, all with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Diego knows when your auto needs 5-star attention, it's never convenient. He offers a 12-month interest-free auto repair loan on major auto repairs with no money down. He'll even throw in free towing and a 10% discount for his neighbors in the 909 who work for the city and county of San Bernardino. Call 909-387-0770. That's 387-0770. Your neighbors at 909 West 2nd Street in San Bernardino.
Hello, everyone. This is Nina MD, Fusion of Science and Beauty. Listen to my show every Wednesday night, 6 p.m., KCAA 1050, where I'm going to give you the latest, greatest on anti-aging.
The other station claims to be local. Since when is Glendale local? KCAA, your true local station.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. To be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on ubnradio.com.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California. And now on my syndicated channel, CNBC News Radio, Thursdays at 7 and Saturdays at naturally high noon on KCAA AM 1050. And this is a show about hope and happiness 88% of the time. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk, no CNN, no constantly negative news. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show called Your Life and how you can be happier 88% of the time. And one of the things in life that absolutely influences your happiness is your love life. And I thought that I would actually dedicate an entire series. So every last week of the month, we delve into the deep chasm of sex, love, pleasure, and anything that has to do with orgasms, because it is one of the joys of life, and can also be one of those areas that brings us the greatest consternation. So I am really fortunate to have friends like our co-host today, who I actually found at an orgasm conference. Yes, I went there to do research, and she was featured on one of those educational slash, non-violent porn movies, and she was an expert because she's an expert in tantric sex. And I thought I'd love to have her on the show. So one thing led to another, and that was a couple years back, and I've had the real pleasure of having her not only as a colleague but a friend. So please welcome back on the air a very popular co-host, Ms. Davie Ward. Hey, darling.
Hey there.
How's your sex life?
Oh, really? You want to lead with that?
Yeah, let's just jump right into bed with that.
My sex life has improved vastly since September 1st. And it's really ironic because I was going to do 90 days of celibacy starting September 1st. And that same date, we had an empowerment with my Lama Tashi Dundrup. And at the empowerment was an old and very dear friend of mine that for some reason, we got to experience each other with new eyes. And we've been having a mad, passionate, amazing love affair ever since. So I think we're 60 days in.
So much for 90-day celibacy.
I know. Well, I was already 6 weeks in. And I figured,
so you made the 6 weeks.
I did 6 weeks. And I figured, well, I'll just go another, couple months. Because I wanted to clear the slate, just kind of come back to myself, come back to neutral and see what I could manifest. See if I could call in a partner that met more of my needs for companionship and connection and intimacy. And I didn't even have to wait very long. I just had to make that choice.
Yeah. You're coming forward instead of coming back.
Exactly. I'm coming all around the room, actually.
I love the owner of my CNBC News Radio channel. He says, "I love your show. I listen to it every week, and." Because we have FCC rules there, not here at UBN, but he says you just come right up to the edge of that cliff, the FCC cliff, and then you back out. So we came and we're conquering today. Yes, we are going to talk about. Actually, we're going to usually when you come on the air. We talk about orgasms and the female side. Mm-hmm. And those you can still watch, you can still see. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can actually watch and see what Davie looks like. She's beautiful. And all the other sexual healing with Dr. Marissa episodes. But if you've noticed, probably in the last 4 or 5 months, we've kind of switched focuses, and Davie has not been on to talk about the male side. She usually addresses the female, how to have more pleasure in the bedroom or anywhere, where 11 kinds of orgasms. That's a very, very popular episode, by the way. Davie, I think, is the number one. So I wanted to bring her back because no thanks to my assistant producer, Jarvis, we started focusing on men, and we had a male panel of average, quote unquote, men who talked about their side of the story or their pleasure and their orgasms. And so that began sort of our last 4 or 5 months where we've been looking at, male function and dysfunction in the bedroom. So I wanted to bring you back because I know as a tantric expert as well as a sexpert, sexuality, sensuality sexpert, you certainly have a lot of breadth and wisdom of knowledge that you can give my listeners. So I've been prepping my listeners with promos all week with the question, do you want some alternatives to Viagra, or do you want to find a solution to erectile dysfunction? And we briefly chatted yesterday. I had no idea that it affects up to 70% of men. Is this in America or worldwide?
I'm not quite sure. I can't remember where I got that statistic from. Okay. More recent statistics that I was looking up this morning affects approximately 5% of men under the age of 40 and between 15 and 20% of men age 65. Now, this is when they're talking about like complete erectile dysfunction, like you cannot get an erection.
Okay.
But in regards to, just kind of a fluctuating erection, that's going to happen to pretty much every man. I think every man can attest to the fact that there are times, there's probably been at least one time in his life when he has wanted to achieve an erection and he hasn't. Mm-hmm. And there's a variety of different reasons for that. So when we say erectile dysfunction, we're talking about the medical definition is failure to achieve an erection more than 50% of the time.
Okay.
So that's when it indicates a problem.
Okay. But at some time or another, and I know as a life balance coach that many of my clients come to me at midlife opportunity, and many of the men that come, I would say 80% of the men who are in sessions with me do have issues in the bedroom with erectile dysfunction of some kind. Maybe not clinically, but many of them are on some kind of antidepressant medication, which is like almost 100%. It's going to affect your libido or your penis, or your functioning in that area, and then those who have not healthy, romantic, intimate relationships also have the side effect of a poor functioning or performing body penis. I can say that.
Yes, and from the tantric perspective, if we take out any possible health issues like, diabetes or kidney disease or overweight or anything that affects the heart and the circulation, because that's a major function of erection is blood flow, right? So if we take out any physical causative factors and we take out any emotional causative factors and we just have a normal healthy man who's in a normal healthy relationship and he's having difficulty achieving and maintaining erection, from the tantric perspective, it is a result of a chronic lifetime of excessive ejaculation. I don't know if I said that properly. It's our approach is that there's been a lifetime of excessive ejaculation. So the number one cure for erectile dysfunction from a tantric perspective is lots of sexual stimulation with no ejaculation.
Okay, if you've just tuned in, no, you have not made an error. You are tuned into Dr. Marissa and her monthly, last week of the month, Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa episodes. And today we have a special guest, co-host, repeat, who's on with the Asian Oprah again, and that is Davey Ward. And we are talking about how to improve our happiness in the bedroom, and specifically for men. So I want to just rewind for a second. I've said tantric. You've said tantric. For people who are just tuning in or are new listeners who haven't seen you before, can you give me a couple sentences on what tantra or tantric is? And I'll tell you why. Because when I first heard that term, I thought the reputation was, that's for people who all they do is sex. That's for people who are way to the, sex is all on their mind and in their life, and they don't do anything else. And I know that that's not true because I know you, even though right now maybe that is true. But but what is tantric sex? What is tantra?
Well, tantra itself is actually an ancient healing system designed to remove suffering and improve health of your body, mind, and spirit. And it includes meditation practices, it includes movement practices, it includes connection practices, connection for self and connection for partner. And of course, it includes sexual pleasure. And the goal of the sexuality is to harness human sexual energy and human sexual pleasure and use it to heal the body, purify the mind, and enlighten your consciousness, essentially.
So it's way more than sex.
Yes, sex is a wonderful and amazing and I think foundational part of it, because human sexual pleasure is like, oh my God, it's the most potent source of energy on the planet. Like, we create new life with our sex.
Yes.
That's powerful, right?
Yes.
So that's a powerful amount of energy that most people have no idea how to utilize correctly.
Correct.
So Tantra is the yoga or the tool or the method to actually generate tremendous amounts of bliss, and then use that energy to empower your life and heal your body, essentially.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. So here is a no side effect from pharmaceutical solution to sexual dysfunction is what you're, and it's not just physical, it's body, mind, spirit, soul. So
absolutely. It's a holistic approach to healing any type of sexual dysfunction specifically, but also for people who just want to experience their full orgasmic potential.
Right.
So like women are capable of over 11 different orgasms. Men are capable of over 8 different kinds of orgasms.
I like the fact that we have more though. But men, 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homonym for good fortune, so that's good too. But you're always behind. Anyways, so what's interesting is it's really gaining. Jarvis, quit shaking your head. It's really gaining some popularity too. Is that I went to see that movie, Learning to Drive, and one of the. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It's a great movie. They're both great actors, but her first out of relationship sexual encounter was with a tantric male who would not ejaculate, and she was like, "Come on already," literally. So tell me, okay, so a man who has been through doesn't have diabetes, hasn't been on pharmaceuticals, who is experiencing some dysfunction, and you said that is a common thing, and the diagnosis is a lifetime of over ejaculation. So if you're listening and that describes you, what do you do about that, Davy? What does the man step by step, if you can, do with? Okay, what is over? Okay, I'm getting a question here. What is over ejaculation?
I'm
excessive.
I'm glad you asked that because
I didn't ask it, Jarvis.
I'll give you the Eastern science behind it.
Okay.
It takes a man under the age of 35, 3 days, under the age of 35, 3 days to recover from one ejaculation. It takes a man over the age of 35, 8 days to recover from one ejaculation. So if you are ejaculating, if you're a man who's 40 years old and you're ejaculating more than once every 8 days, you are ejaculating excessively. Most men, especially in today's porn culture, ejaculate a minimum of once a day. And so most men are walking around in a state of chronic depletion.
But if they can come, I mean, why is that over?
That's a good question. Because semen contains the most vital, potent nutrients of a man's body. Basically, a man's body takes the best of the best of the best of the best of his minerals and nutrients that would go to feed his brain and his organs and his heart, takes all of those minerals and goes into producing semen to create babies, right? So semen is literally baby batter. I mean, it's not a joke. It literally is.
Okay.
So when a man's ejaculation frequency exceeds his body's ability to naturally replenish it, his body will actually cannibalize. It will steal minerals and nutrients from all these vital organs to go into producing more semen to perpetuate the species.
So that's
just the way the body works.
So there is some truth that you'll go blind if you do it too much.
Well, not necessarily go blind, but you will be depleted. But here's the thing: orgasm and ejaculation are two separate functions of the nervous system. Okay. And ejaculation is nothing more than a sneeze. It's like a reflex in your lower spinal stem. That's all it is. But an orgasm is an expansion of energy throughout the nervous system. So I specialize in training men how to separate orgasm from ejaculation. I mean, that's what I do. That's my livelihood, very successfully. I've got countless men running around that are fully multi-orgasmic that are ejaculating once every 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so that means you can have an orgasm without ejaculating.
Oh yeah, it's your birthright. And that's how you start moving into multiple orgasms and the over 8 different kinds of orgasm for men. If you continue to ejaculate, you'll never get there. You'll have one ejaculatory orgasm, and it's minimal compared to you really have no idea. I just spent 3 days with a fully multi-orgasmic non-ejaculatory tantric male Kccaa. It is like nothing you will ever experience. It's inconceivable.
You had front row seats.
Yeah, I mean, my joke is that I finished the weekend with an ice pack between my legs. That's
all righty.
That's how insane it was.
Sorry, Fred. TMI. So there is this. I mean, this is not taught, obviously. So this is the misconception that if you're not pleasuring yourself, or if you're not having an orgasm daily, that because that on the female side, I've heard that there's health benefits to having orgasms once a day or once every other day or 3 times a week. I've heard that statistic for body, mental, emotional health. So is that not true on the male side? Or maybe I'm getting the ejaculation and the orgasm mixed up. So if you have an orgasm a day, it will keep the doctor away, but an ejaculation a day is going to deplete your body.
Exactly. Okay. And the men who successfully and consistently practice semen retention are having more than 1 orgasm a day. These men are having several orgasms. We're talking about multi-orgasmic men.
Okay. That's not depicted in the movie, because it's basically like he's not ejaculating and he's not orgasming.
Well, that's because it's Hollywood. It's a movie. Okay. Like they don't know Tantra, right?
That's true.
That's their approximation. It's their fantasy about Tantra. Right. It's not the reality of Tantra.
Well, that leads to another Moose on the Table BS system, belief system, Buster, is, you know, there's this where is that middle line between you want the man to last and you don't want him to premature, but then if it goes on for hours and hours and hours, I've heard women say, "Come on already," literally. It's you know, I don't want an ice pack. So where is that? Where is the middle line here? Where's the center balance?
You stop when you want to. Like for me, you know, I'm multi-orgasmic myself. So the longer my partner lasts, the more orgasms I get to have. It's a wonderful thing. But when you want to stop, you just say stop. We're under no obligation. It's like we're trained as women that when the man comes, sex is done. We're under no obligation for him to be done. If you've been making love for an hour and you're done, just say, "Hey, can we take a break? Let's go get some food."
But there's that belief system that if they don't ejaculate, they haven't had their turn, or they haven't had completion or fulfillment.
So if you're making love with a multi-orgasmic man, he's probably had about 10 orgasms in the past hour. There's no shadow of a doubt in your mind that he's gotten his.
Okay. So it sounds like they've ejaculated, because I've never been with a man who like your Kccaa. So I don't know. All I know is the traditional, you know, when there's ejaculation, there's when Harry met Sally, and then there's snoring. So that's the...
Okay, so take that minus the snoring and minus the ejaculation and multiply it by 10.
Okay. So they still do the that kind of, you can tell. That they're,
that's one kind of orgasm. Not only can you tell, but you can feel it. He's making love with you, and he's having a full body orgasm, and your body can't help but orgasm with him. That's why I chuckle when people say, "How do we come together?" When you're multi-orgasmic, you never stop coming together.
Okay. She's at this way level of pleasure that that's why I have her on the show. It's somebody to shoot for. So, okay. So now that we have that settled on semen retention is one of the tools to use to correct erectile dysfunction, or allowing your body to recover from an ejaculation. What kind of advice would you give to men who just don't have the desire. I had that question come in. So they just don't have, they feel like, and there's lots of these terms running around now. My teenagers are coming home. There's asexual, bisexual, trisexual, try anything, all the time. Pansexual. There's actually something funny. I asked them, what's the definition of pansexual? And someone says, well, that's where it doesn't matter what they look like. You're just attracted to them and you just want to do them. And it's like, well, doesn't that describe a man?
Now that I wouldn't agree.
Yeah. So
men usually have their particular types.
Yeah. Jarvis is shaking his head again. So here we go. So what would you say about a man who's feeling that his time or his desire time is over? And we've had that opposite question with you before about a woman who just doesn't feel sexual anymore.
Yeah, I always look at the causative factors, because usually it's not just one thing. Usually there's multiple layers of things. So what's going on with his physical health? What's going on? Is he on any antidepressants? Like you said, there's a lot of antidepressants. I can't remember exactly. I think it's the serotonin uptake or inhibitors. I can't remember exactly, pardon me, but it has to do with the serotonin and the antidepressants, and that will absolutely negatively impact your libido. So if you're having libido issues, consult your doctor, because you can take antidepressants without that serotonin thing in there that's going to impede your libido. So we want to look at, are there physical health issues going on? Are there emotional issues? Is it, or do you have a dysfunction in your relationship? So what's going on that's causing you to have a lack of desire and lack of libido? And if we can find what the cause is, then we can address the cause. Right. One of the causes is depletion and is simply being tired. I know I've run into several men in my work and just in my personal associations who have the energy to masturbate and ejaculate at the end of the night, but they don't want to make love with their partners. They don't have the energy to make love with their partners, but they can, whatever, pleasure themselves for 2 minutes, ejaculate and roll over and go to sleep.
Why?
Why can they do that? In the particular cases that I'm thinking of, there was actually underlying sexual trauma from childhood that made it really difficult for them to want to actually emotionally connect with their partners. But it was a way of relieving stress for them. A lot of men use ejaculation as stress release.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
so that was the way he did his stress release. So, like I said, it's so without talk, I would take every case
individually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no broad answer for why. It's so individual.
Is there a trend, though, towards the acceptance and the normalcy of meaningless sex? Has that helped separate out pleasure and intimacy?
From what I hear, keep in mind that I live in a tantric bubble, like you said, so my experience is very different than a 20-year-old millennial's experience. But from the little bit that I've gleaned in like the Tinder dating and this and porn culture, I think it's devastating. What I'm seeing is a lack of connection all across the board, not just sexual connection, but emotional connection with our technology addiction and that sort of thing. There's a huge need for interpersonal human connection on every level, and I think it's showing up in our sex as this, emotionless, disconnected sex, which is not actually nourishing. Right. Those kind of orgasms are not nourishing. That's like eating like Doritos and trying to live on Doritos for the rest of your life. You're going to be deficient.
Right.
Deficient, right?
Yeah.
So I think that because we live in a culture that criminalizes sex education, right? We have two options. We have either nothing or we have porn. And if porn is our only resource for sex education, we're doing ourselves a tremendous disservice as a culture.
Absolutely. And that, going back to masturbating and rolling over versus having sex with your partner and orgasming, that also, I don't know, is it related to just it's easier? It's just less messy so to speak. It is just less emotionally taxing to do that. I mean,
well, yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of what we call relationship in this culture is simply coping. It's not really interrelating. It's, people came together and they were in love and they had kids and then they got a mortgage and then, and then life just becomes this huge, like, kind of black cloud, and you get to fit in connection here and there, right? And so oftentimes there's all this stuff, resentments that build up, and you don't want to make love with your partner because you're not making love, because there's no love anymore. There's just coping mechanisms in the way, right? So jacking off for 2 minutes and coming, ejaculating and rolling over and go to sleep is a lot easier than actually talking with your partner and having to sift through the 10 years of repressed emotions that have built up between you. Right.
So that is, it takes work. I mean, that's the work, but the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is not just a meaningless encounter or even just an ejaculation, but an actual multi-orgasmic experience is what you're saying on the physical side. And then the emotional intimacy that comes from connection, which is something that you just cannot get anywhere else in life. You can't get it from your kids, you can't get it from your parents, you can't get it, that is certainly, why you don't want to go live on an island by yourself. But it is true that today it is more difficult. You have to really put yourself out there and be vulnerable and not be held back by BS and belief systems that, I've already been, or I haven't found a soulmate, it's not going to happen anymore. Or I found a soulmate and they are gone, so I'm not going to fight. Or they cheated on me and I don't want to be vulnerable anymore in case I get hurt again. Or, all the good ones are gone. And all of those very, very strong BS belief systems do get in the way of the work that, I mean, it's pleasurable work and work for pleasure, right? It is not easy. It is not easy, but it doesn't have to be difficult. I mean, I think that's the thing. But I'll be the first to admit. I mean, it is easier for me not to be on the market because when I'm on the market, it's just this constant. Well, I don't have the time for this, and then there's missed schedules, and then you finally get together and you have these expectations and none of them are met, and it's just easier to go and have a nice evening with yourself.
Well, and that and that's lovely that you say that, because that's really healthy and really nourishing, is for you to assess, like, hey, actually I really enjoy my solitude, I really enjoy my time alone, and I find it really nourishing. And the thing is also, like you speak about this, what your whole radio show is about how can we be happier, how can we be healthier, how can we how can we transform our patterns and move beyond our patterns and our BS systems, and become more of who and what we truly are. And so the approach to relationship, and I'm not a relationship expert. I am a tantra expert. I'm not a relationship expert. And yet, from my point of view, I approach everything as a spiritual practice, really.
Yeah.
Everything, and I know that you have such a profound spiritual inner world that you express externally. And so I would imagine that every encounter you have feeds your spiritual awareness and your spiritual consciousness. Well, relationship is no different to me. So yes, there's going to be areas of growth, opportunities for growth. Of course there are. Of course there are. And that's the beautiful thing. And I just think that again, we do ourselves a great disservice when we have an expectation that it's supposed to be perfect and shiny happy. And also that we're supposed to figure it all out ourselves. We can't.
Right.
We need help from each other.
Yes, we do. And you're a great source of help. And it's the perfect time to run your promo as we take a minute to thank the sponsors of each and every one of our fabulous episodes of Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out.
Do you want more life balance? Are you 88% happy with your health and well-being, your relationships, your livelihood? If yes, do the Abundance. If no, and you'd like a life balance tune-up and align those head, heart, spark plugs and smog check the BS belief systems that are clogging your lifelines, contact Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, at www.4balance.org for a session on the air or a private one on the beach. Did you know that women are capable of over 11 different kinds of orgasms, and yet 87% of women are sexually unsatisfied? Did you know that 9 out of 10 couples desire deeper intimacy in and out of the bedroom? If you desire more pleasure, better orgasms, and a more sacred sensual connection, visit DebbieWardTantra.com and get your free female orgasm guide to uncover the top 3 blocks preventing you from having the pleasure, intimacy, and orgasms you crave. That's DebbieWardTantra.com.
And we are back. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at Naturally High Noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of Hollywood, California, and every Thursday and Saturday with my syndicated CNBC News radio channel that is KCAA AM 1050. And today we are the last week of the month Marvin Gaye sponsored series called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, where we talk clean dirty. And we talk about pleasure and orgasms and how you can be happier with those things 88% of the time. And today's Bring Back popular guest co-host is Davie Ward, who is a tantric and human sensuality and sexuality sexpert. So, Davie, welcome back. And we just heard a little of how to get in touch with you. I want to make sure, I'm sure there's many, many people who are listening right now who do want a better sex life and want to try something new at the same time. So, tantric definitely fits that bill. How can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at Davie Ward Tantra, and it's spelled DEV as in Victor, IWARDTANTRA.com, DavieWardTantra.com. You can also listen to my radio podcast at medicinesex.com. And if you go to medicinesex.com, it has all the links and you can listen anytime. It's a lot of really great, wonderful, juicy information about sex and health and wellness of the body, mind, and spirit.
Wonderful. And people can call in for that as well, correct?
Oh, absolutely. You can call into that show. We broadcast live every Thursday at 7 p.m. So we've got a show this week, and we're going to be talking about what your doctor does not know about sex. Again, you can go to medicinesex.com and click on the Listen Live button. It will take you to all the links to where you can listen live and call in.
Wonderful. And Jarvis just pulled up your website. Beautiful. You changed it. I like it. And if you see on that opening page, it's Davie is the Oprah of sex.
That's what my friends call me, the Oprah of sex.
And as well, my colleagues call me the Asian Oprah, which is one of the reasons why we were just destined to be.
It's a match made in Oprah heaven.
That's right. So, okay, so back to sex, back to what other kinds of issues come up with men and sex? Oh, I know. I had a question come in while we were on break. Is the consequences of over or excessive ejaculation that you talked about earlier, that men are having more ejaculations than their body can keep up with, which is what I think I heard, would that explain why men on average do not live as long as women? Does that also impact, like Wilt Chamberlain, who has a nice reputation of 20,000 women? Would that explain his demise?
There are absolute theories. I don't believe it's been medically proven. Again, Western medicine and Eastern medicine, Western science and Eastern science sometimes overlap, but on the topic of ejaculation, they don't seem to overlap. I think, so it hasn't been medically proven in Western science, but if you speak to an Eastern ancient Chinese Taoist master, the whole theory about that is if you think of your life force as an oil lamp, right? And you have a finite amount of oil to burn your flame for your entire life. Every time a man ejaculates, it's like pouring oil out of that lamp and spilling it on the ground.
There's no replenishing?
Well, yes, the replenishment comes from lots of sexual stimulation, no ejaculation. That is the quickest, fastest way to rebuild those chemistries in the bloodstream.
Interesting.
Abstinence or celibacy does not work, because when you're abstinent or celibate, your sexual energy just goes dormant. The way to replenish your sexual chi and your sexual vitality is to make love a lot, whether that's with yourself or with a partner, and learn to separate orgasm from ejaculation. Have lots of orgasms, no ejaculation. The ejaculation frequency that we recommend in Tantra is going to vary from man to man. A general rule of thumb is ejaculating once every 6 weeks.
Once every 6 weeks?
Yep.
Jarvis is having a real difficult time over here.
So I'll give you a little bit more science again.
But wait, hold on one second. I have to address this, because I think the reason why the reaction is so strong is because there is no distinction in most of our minds and men's minds between orgasm and ejaculation. And so until we get that distinction in place, and the only way to do this is to practice it, right? Is to experience it. So, I mean, I would love to take one of those instant polls right now and ask if I can look in my listening audience and say, how many of you have ever experienced an orgasm without ejaculation? You know, Jarvis is shaking his head. So he's my average typical man right now. And, you know, I think that's where you're at, though. I mean, how do you convince people outside of taking them there? Outside of taking them there, is that the only way to prove that it can happen?
Well, I mean, you have to have the experience, but the thing is it's once you have the correct methods, it's super easy to experience. I have men their first time. Like, I don't do it for my male students. I teach them how to do it themselves, right?
Right.
So I teach them, I give them the method. They go home, they call me or text me or email. Oh my God, Davey, it worked. Yeah, if you have the correct instruction, you will get it the first time. It's super easy. It's not rocket science. It is your birthright. And once you know how to do it and you do it, it's really easy. And the thing is what I hear from my male students is they get to the point where they like those orgasms better than ejaculating. Imagine the best ejaculatory orgasm you've ever had. It was like earth-shaking, toe-curling. Now multiply that, literally, I'm not joking, multiply that by 10 or 20 or 100. I mean, and the thing is they increase in intensity. There's no end, because you're constantly building and maintaining and cultivating the sexual charge. It just gets huge.
Literally.
Insane.
Literally. So I just got another text saying, or a message saying, can you share that formula, which obviously is from a guy. So I'm not going to ask you to share that formula, but you can definitely get in touch with you. But I am going to ask you, can we have one Asian Oprah giveaway that the first person to contact me can have a session with you at a discount? Can we do that?
Yeah, we can do that. The other thing we can do is we have this online at authentictantra.com, where myself and my ex-husband, who trained me in Tantra, teach you step by step how to go through the process of separating orgasm from ejaculation in videos. You don't even have to talk to me. It's totally anonymous. It's $57. And you learn exactly how to do it step by step. And if you have any questions, you can just shoot it to myself or to Jacques, and we'll answer your questions. So it's super easy to learn, and we have it all for you.
Okay.
And I would be happy to do a giveaway. I'd love to think about the best option for our wonderful giveaway. So if we could talk about that at our next break or announce your next show. Yeah. But I want to think about what would be the best way to support you wonderful listeners in developing your full sexual potential.
Wonderful. So we'll just put a bookmark on that. And if you do want the Asian Oprah giveaway for Davey's show, then message me. Now, you have many ways to do it. forbalance.org, sign the guest register, or on Facebook. If you're not a friend of mine already, please do become one. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. So you have many ways. The first one to say, the keyword will be orgasm. Yeah, we'll do orgasm. I did this before for female orgasm. We already had a winner on that one. So this one will be orgasm for men. And then we'll get back to you on what exactly that best gift is. How's that?
But you are going to get a good gift.
You're going to get it.
We're going to do you up. Yeah. So the actual method can be learned at authentictantra.com. And we have it under our Lasting Longer for Men. It's our most successful and most popular package, obviously.
$57 is definitely a good investment.
Oh my God. And it's so worth it. It's worth it. You get all the tools you need to do that practice and cultivate it for the rest of your life.
Wonderful.
And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It's worth
I
a try.
wanted to share in regards to the length of time ejaculation. Do I have time to share one?
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, this is Tibetan medicine. Okay, this is where this information comes from. So Tibetan medicine is ancient, structure based on Chinese medicine, which is over
Chinese.
Yeah, thousands of years old, right? And I actually don't go see Western doctors. I go to see Chinese doctors and Tibetan doctors. That's who I go to see because I trust them. So this is
we're better.
There you go. Exactly. I mean, with all those thousands of years of tradition, y'all have to know what the heck you're doing. That's all I'm saying. So this is from Tibetan medicine. So when we talk about recover from ejaculation, this is what we mean. So it takes 10 drops of food essence. So you eat the food, it's digested, blah, blah, blah. The essence goes to feed your cells. It takes 10 drops of food essence to make 1 drop of blood. It takes an entire cup of blood to make 1 drop of semen. Wow. So essentially, semen is more precious than blood.
Wow. Okay?
Now, if you think of it, you can only donate blood once every 6 weeks, or what happens?
You run out, or you can't replenish in time.
You get depleted.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're depleted. So if you can only donate blood once every 6 weeks, and semen is more precious than blood, why would you think you could ejaculate more than once every 6 weeks?
That makes sense.
See?
That makes sense. It does. I'm still getting head shakes over here, though. I think that the it's worth trying. It's worth trying because health, it is important, and you're talking about an ancient art form, an ancient science. Tibet, for those Tibetan. You were trained. You're one of the few trained with. To speak to that for a second, because, okay, I have to put this moose on the table. This is why I do this show. This is why once a month it's important enough for me to focus in on sex. Is because I want the balance. I am tired of only seeing, hearing, talking, witnessing the dark side of sex. I am tired of it. I really, really want us to bring back the light into this precious activity called orgasms, pleasure, intimacy, romance, and so, where was I going with this? I got really excited just now. No, not to the point of orgasm, but I was really excited because I was trying to make a point around, help me,
about the sacredness of human sexuality.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, because you hear about Tibetan monks, right? You don't usually think about sex. You hear about Qi, which is what I work with in my practice, Balanced Side Qigong, as eternal energy. You don't think about sex, but the link, the partnership, as you said, it's no accident when we have an orgasm. We say, "Oh my God!" That spirituality, sensuality, sexuality is such a connection that we have to stop separating church and state and sex and pleasure and beauty and spirituality and the wonder of life. We just have to stop doing it.
Well, yeah. And it's built into the human design. As I've shared in other shows, every orgasm is a glimpse of enlightenment. Mm-hmm. So it's literally hardwired into the human nervous system that human sexual pleasure is one of the fastest, quickest ways to experience a transformation of consciousness.
Yes.
And any of us who have had really amazing sex can attest to that. You feel different after you make love, right?
Right.
Happier, you're snuggly. You don't want to go to war. You want to eat chips and watch movies and snuggle, right?
And see the best in everything.
Everything glows. You go out, you smile at people more. I mean, love is medicine. It's healing. It can transform this planet. And when we come together in sexual union, whether it's man and woman or man and man and woman, as long as love is involved, we are literally making love. That is a fact. We're making more love here on Earth. That is a sacred, profound act.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Making love is a necessary and beautiful part of life. Thank you so much. We are up to the end of the show, and I don't know. Every time we get together, it is quick.
It seems like a premature ejaculation.
It's not.
It's not. We had a full hour.
Full hours of love, making love around life. Yes? Together. Exactly. Thank you so much, Davy. DavyWardTantra.com is her website. AuthenticTantra.com is where you can invest $57, men, for your saving your health by allowing your body to replenish itself and still have a lot of orgasms, just not so much ejaculation. So that was the bottom line and the top line to this show. And we are now at the end of the time for Balance Bar, where I give you some encouragement and invite you to join me in some other activities besides this show. The 21-day Fast from Complaining round 53 starts next week, November 1st. So register on www.4balance.org. And there's still time to be the first to get my Buddy app that is coming out by Thanksgiving, when you can find out how much of a complainer you are. Asian Oprah giveaway is a copy. Our Asian Oprah giveaway is a surprise. And you just contact me any way you want and just put the word orgasm on there, and you will get a message, and I'll let you know what that is. So tune in for another scintillating version of Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. Remember, it is all about pleasure. I'm determined to make sex and pleasure and orgasms a G-rated topic, because it's about time that we took back from the dark side something that really does make love to the world. Peace in and peace out.
Learned to cry at an early age. People around me, my heart in a cage. It was a book.
Like to spend a few days in another world? Then write this down. Golden Bear Cottages, Big Bear Lake. Now, listen, this is not some corporate-owned operation. It's family-owned and operated by some real nice people. Unique? Oh, you bet. Golden Bear Cottages features 28 one-of-a-kind cabins on a 5-acre historic site. Great for families, couples, and groups. And cabins are available with 1 to 7 bedrooms. Golden Bear Cottages is just a stone's throw from Big Bear Lake, and